past week, the country marked a troubling milestone. The number of Americans who lost their emergency unemployment insurance hit 2 million, and thousands more will lose this lifeline every week if we do not extend this critical benefit. You know, the impact of losing unemployment benefits is immediate, and it's devastating to our constituents. I recently spoke to a constituent in Oregon who was laid off from a large employer in my district. His unemployment benefits ended early this year when the program was cut off, and since then, unfortunately, things have gone from bad to worse. He's been in his home for about 10 years, and now he's in default because he cannot pay his mortgage. I want to thank our colleague, Congressman Matt Cartwright, for leading the effort to provide my constituents and yours the opportunity to get a bit of relief. He's sponsoring the Stop Foreclosures Due to Congressional Dysfunction Act. That would put a 6-month moratorium on foreclosures of federally backed mortgages for individuals who have exhausted their unemployment benefits. And I have to say, this is the least that we can do for our constituents who are still suffering, because this House refuses to allow an up or down vote on extending unemployment compensation. Now, my constituent is actively looking for work. He continues to look for work, but he keeps getting passed over for jobs. They're being filled by employers who seem to be looking for younger, maybe less expensive workers. You know, he's one of many constituents across the country. What he and other constituents like him tell me is that it's particularly difficult for the more mature job seekers to find work. Even though they have decades of productive experience, you know, his efforts to find work haven't stopped. And I have to say, I want to emphasize this, the unemployment benefits that he was getting, they weren't making him lazy. They were allowing him to survive. But instead of giving him the resources he needs to help lift him up and out of this situation, we're abandoning him and constituents across the country when they really need that lifeline. And, you know, we need to extend this lifeline while we're tackling the problems of long-term unemployment in this country. The long-term unemployed need better access to job training, workforce development programs, need the resources. They need the programs they need to engage employers and help connect the long-term unemployed, particularly older workers, with suitable employment. And all Americans must realize that being among the long-term unemployed does not diminish one's abilities, value, or potential contribution to the workforce and the economy. And I want to emphasize that point because when I had a roundtable discussion in my district, there were several constituents there who were unemployed. And I tell you, they get down, they get concerned that they aren't worthy, and we wanted to emphasize to them, you are worthy, keep looking, you can find work, we should be extending this lifeline. Now, my home state of Oregon has been a bright spot in the midst of the recovery. In January, Oregon recorded its lowest unemployment rate since 2008. There's a recent report that shows that Oregon added more than 43,000 jobs last year. That's great news. The unemployment, adding to the unemployment base by 2.6%, but you know, unfortunately, the economic improvement provides little relief for the still about 30,000 long-term unemployed Oregonians who have lost these benefits over the last 2 months and are still struggling to reenter the workforce. You know, they need these resources to have a car, to get to job interviews, to have a cell phone. Now, as the economy continues to recover, we must stimulate it, not stifle it. The Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program doesn't just help the millions of Americans who are struggling to get by every day. It provides an economic boost. When people get these benefits, they aren't saving these monies. They put the benefits right back into the economy. While they look for work, they use the unemployment benefits to pay their mortgages, to buy groceries, to keep the lights on. We shouldn't be arguing over extending this lifeline to millions of hardworking Americans, and I was glad to hear the news that the Senate has a bipartisan proposal. I hope they pass that and get it over to us right away. And yesterday I joined many of others of our colleagues signing the discharge petition calling for a vote to extend emergency unemployment. There's no better cause than helping the hardworking members of our country who desperately want to go back to work. So thank you again, Representative Pocan, for organizing this hour. I hope that we can draw attention especially to the nation, but especially to our colleagues about the effects of ending the benefit. I really urge our colleagues on the other side of the aisle and in leadership to reconsider this, to put this up for a vote so we can help our constituents who are looking for work, trying to get back to work, and need that lifeline. So thank you again, Representative Pocan, for leading this important discussion, and I yield back.
Sure. Well, and